Hi, my name's Jordan and I'm a PhD student in information science at the University of Colorado Boulder. In the midst of this global coronavirus crisis, the stock market has been going wild. Mostly plummeting, but honestly it's been down, then up, then down, then up, then down, and down, and up, and down, and down, and up, and down again. I need a shiny leotard because it's like a 1980s aerobics dance class up in here. I've been seeing some nice visualizations that capture both those drops as well as the volatility. So I've been thinking, could I make something similar using sonification? For those of you who don't know what sonification is, and honestly that's pretty much everyone, it's a set of techniques for using sounds to represent information and data. It's visualization but for your ears. Why not just use a graph? Well, after looking at so many line and bar charts, they can kind of all seem to blur together. So it is nice to mix things up. Also with sound, the listener has to slow down and actually go at the pace that the designer intended. So it can invite longer engagement with a data representation. There are downsides to sonification. Most of us haven't been listening to data our whole lives, so they can be hard to understand at first. And although our ears are very good at distinguishing small changes, it might not always be exactly clear how those sounds map onto the abstracted data. So in this short video, I'm going to do my best to explain to you how I created these sounds representing the stock market, what they mean, and how to listen to them. I'll be using some visuals to illustrate the data as well to reinforce what's happening. So first, what data should we use? I'll be using the Dow Jones Industrial Average, one of the main US stock market indices. I could have chosen any, really, they're all going similarly bonkers. I'll be using two metrics. First, the daily percent change, which measures how much the market fluctuated from the day before. Second, I'll be using the closing price, which tells you kind of how it's doing in the longer term. So let's start with the daily percent change, which conveys volatility. This will be represented with piano notes. Middle range notes represent little or no daily change. Like this. This is a sound of a 0.4% increase. Higher notes represent a big daily increase. Like this is what a 5.2% increase sounds like. And lower notes represent a big daily drop. Like this, 6.3% decrease. So notice how the piano is actually playing a bunch of notes, right? It's going up and down and up and down. I had the software I'm using play arpeggios for each day to convey how the stock market goes up and down constantly throughout the time that it's open. So even though we're just sonifying one value per day, there are 5 days per second, so each second represents a whole business week of stock market data. So just to get our ear used to it, here's what the first week of January sounded like when the market was basically flat. And here's last week when things went bonkers. Okay, so what about the overall long-term market trends? For that, we're going to need the data on the closing price. I'm going to be representing that with a double bass. It's kind of the ongoing tempo, the beat of the stock market. So we're still going to have 5 days per second, but this time just one note played for each day, no arpeggios. The high closing prices are going to sound something like this. Here's near the peak, above 29,000. And here's the recent low closing price, around 19,000. So again, let's train our ear to hear what it sounds like. Here's the first week of January, just the closing price when things were stable. And here's last week, our Bonkers week. Okay, so now it's time to put them both together. Remember, you can listen to the piano for information about volatility, and you can listen to the bass for information about the closing price. This time, I'm going to play the entire period from January 1st, 2020 to March 20th, 2020. The whole thing will take 11 seconds. So what do you think? Does hearing it make you think about the stock market data any differently? I'm also curious, how might you improve my sonification? How might you change it to make it better? The tools that I used were twotone.io, which is a free web-based software for making sonification. And then I also used Yahoo Finance to get the data. To learn more about how I made this, or to get sound files of the sonifications themselves, you can check out my blog post. Once again, my name is Jordan, and thanks for listening.